Welcome to ECCB Connects, a production of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank designed to share with you who we are, what we do, and how we serve you. Have you ever heard of generational wealth? What about estate planning? On this week's episode of ECCB Connects, we share with you an excerpt from a discussion with Financial Information Month Festival partners in the Commonwealth of Dominica, where they break down the concept of generational wealth and how it goes hand in hand with estate planning. Stay connected with us. We'll share more with you after this message.
When the ECCB took the bold step to introduce Dcash, the people of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union were at the heart of this decision.
It's about creating opportunities.
It's about connecting family.
It's about linking friends.
It's about changing the way we do business.
It's about transforming lives.
A journey to a place where none have gone before will not be without its challenges.
But challenges will not deter us from our goal. It's about me.
It's about you.
It's about all of us.
So join us and let's make history together.
Thanks for staying connected. Generational wealth can be described as the process of transferring financial assets from one generation to the next. Estate planning speaks to the plans you can put in place to say what happens to those assets after you are gone. Why should these issues be of importance to you? We look to 4 Financial Information Month Festival partners in the Commonwealth of Dominica to help us dissect the concepts of generational wealth and estate planning.
Easiest way to build generational wealth is through insurance. Simple as that. Every other thing that we try to do to build generational wealth is dependent on time. If you decide you're going to go into real estate, you need time to build up the properties, to find the tenants, to make sure that the place is always filled. If you're thinking about investments, you need time for the dividends to flow in. If you're thinking about winning the lottery, that might take your entire life. But with insurance, you are guaranteeing that the process is going to start regardless of what happens to you. And it is to the point where if you take a policy today and you die tomorrow, your family gets the full amount of money. That's money that you may not have had access to, or you may not even ever have access to for your lifetime. So it is one of the most easy ways to start it. And I think the core concept that we have to understand is that it is not always about us. Someone once told me that when you plant a seed, you don't benefit from the shade of the tree. You're really putting the seed there for the generation after you to benefit from your hard work. When you think about generational wealth, we may not get to see our family experiencing what we have laid down for them, but we know for a fact that even after we are gone, somebody else will carry on that mission. And it does not necessarily have to be the next generation, because it really happens when you have that sort of activity transitioning between the different timelines. So I leave something for my daughter, she gets older, I'm gone, she has her own child, she builds upon it, leaves it for my granddaughter, well, hoping it's a granddaughter, and it keeps building up like that. So insurance is one of the easiest ways to do that.
Yeah. Many believe that leaving behind property is one of the best ways to build wealth. What do you think about that?
I would say that is part of it. Yes, investing in property, taking out a mortgage even, and building your property, and that goes hand in hand with insurance, by the way. You take out a mortgage, you make sure you have life insurance, so that upon your death, that mortgage is paid off. And the person you've left the property to doesn't have to think about paying the bank for that property that you've left for them. So yes, having the property is one thing, but the other part of the equation is leaving that property in the right hands. You know, not just thinking, well, they'll take care of it, they'll do whoever they are, it doesn't matter. No, no, no. You to protect that property that you have worked so hard for and invested in, do a will. Definitely, no two ways about it. You prepare a will and make sure you name an executor who you can trust, who is going to make sure that that property goes to who you left it for. You may have 6 children, and you know half of them worth nothing. You know half of them, if they get that property, they're going to just, you know, squander it. You know, but you know so-and-so, this other child of mine, that person is, so you might leave maybe some cash for the persons who have squandered it, but your property, you know, you want it to stay and be developed, you leave it for this other child. May not be a child at all. Whoever you want, whoever you believe is going to do the best with this property, and it will do and the property itself will do well for that person. By your will, you can do that. By leaving a will, you can name those persons that you want your property to go to. And that way, yes, you build generational wealth, certainly.
So I'm happy that you preempted my discussion when it comes to will creation. You vaguely expressed the importance of a will, but I'm shy of 35. So why should I prepare a will? Why should my parents prepare a will?
But there are many reasons. I think it will take us beyond the hour. Let's start with obviously, you are shy of 35, you may or may not have property. Let's say you don't have any real estate. Because I think many people think that way. Well, I don't have any real estate, any house. I don't have a house. I don't have a home. Why should I do a will? Guess what? You might have a car. You might have money in the bank. You might have a family heirloom, your earrings, something that somebody has left to you that is special to you, that you in turn want to leave to someone else. If you don't have a will, that's just going to sit there. Who knows who will get it? Who knows who will get it? So you leave a will for those things that are special to you, that you want to leave to someone as well, even though you don't have a home. Obviously, if you have a home, you ought to leave a will to ensure that that home goes to the people who you want it to go to. If you do not have a will, what happens is that your property goes into intestacy. Intestacy simply means that the law says who gets your property. And the law has all kinds of rules. I can tell you the wife is last, and the husband or the wife, the spouse is last on that list of people that get your property. So it is, you know, they get like a life interest in a half share of your home. What is that? You know? So that's the best way to do it. You know, you leave it for the people who you want to. That's the importance of having a will.
So in that case, can you walk us through the process of creating a will? Must I go to a lawyer? What is required? Must it be registered? Should it be witnessed? Can you walk us through that?
Sure, I can. I'm a lawyer, so I always say anything to do with the law and anything to do with legal documents. It's always good to get legal advice. But unfortunately for some people, either that's not an option because they don't have hundreds of dollars to spend on a lawyer. For some people, just the thought of going to a lawyer alone is like, it's very ominous. They just don't want to do it, and sitting in that lawyer's office, they don't want to do it, you know? So, I mean, it's unfortunate, but, you know, that's the way it is. So you don't absolutely need a lawyer to do your will. A will is one of the oldest legal documents ever. And lawyers basically use the same language. It might be different for some people for several years. So you can actually do your will yourself. In the pre-internet days, you would have will forms sold in stationery shops. So you could actually go into a stationery shop and buy a will form and fill it out, and then you have your will. But in the internet days, of course, in most countries around the world, you find that you can go online and just do your will, you know? So what is required basically is you name an executor, meaning the person who you want to be in charge of your affairs after you are dead, and that person will be responsible for sharing all of your property according to what you have written in your will. So after naming the executor, you say what you want. You say who you want your property to go to. I leave my house located in Goodwill to my daughter, Jan. I leave all the money in my bank account at National Bank to my son, Jerry, and so on. And you go forth like that. And at the very end, you ensure that when you are signing it, you have 2 independent witnesses with you, right? By independent, I simply mean somebody who's not getting anything under the will. Okay, that's important. And it's important not because it will invalidate your will, but it will invalidate any gift that you left for them. So if I leave a gift for my daughter Jan, and my daughter Jan is a witness to the will, she doesn't get that gift. Everybody else will get theirs, but she won't get her gift, unfortunately. So you get 2 witnesses who are not getting anything under the will. They are adults, and you ensure that you sign your will in front of those 2 witnesses. And those 2 witnesses will also sign your will saying that they saw you signing your will. So everybody signs in each other's presence. Make sure the will is dated and you have your will, it's done. It's done.
In terms of the executor, that person has to be independent, or it could be a family member or somebody that is benefiting from that will.
It can be a family member, somebody who is benefiting. A lot of times it's actually advantageous to do that because the person has a vested interest in wanting to see the thing done. But you have to be sure it is somebody who is responsible, somebody you trust to do what is right.
What tips can you share with individuals who are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, or approaching retirement age, or in an effort to prepare for the inevitable, because we just never know? Mr. Etienne, what advice would you share with our listeners as we close?
Okay, to as Brenton said earlier, to begin thinking of retirement, begin thinking of the end from very early. The end will come. We just not know when.
Right.
We do not know when. The unfortunate circumstances will come because once we're alive, we're exposed to certain risks. We're hoping that it never happens, but they inevitably do happen. I think I would like to say to people, better you see, an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. So do what you have to do. Do what you are able to in terms of preparing for retirement, for death, and hope that it doesn't come. You are going to be better off at the end of the day having done this than not having made the preparations. Better to plan than not to plan.
Yes.
But if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail.
We now present Did You Know?
Did you know that while the official name is Antigua and Barbuda, the territory actually includes 3 islands, namely Antigua, Barbuda, and Redonda. Redonda, a rugged and uninhabited volcanic rock, measures just 0.5 square miles and rises 1,000 feet above the Caribbean Sea.
We've come to the end of this week's episode of ECCB Connects. On today's program, we explored the concepts of generational wealth and estate planning. We learned that insurance is an avenue you can consider to create generational wealth, and that having a will is a key consideration in safeguarding this wealth and your assets. We also learned that creating a will can be a simple process which does not necessarily require a lawyer. Thanks for watching, and be sure to join us next week for another informative episode of ECCB Connects.